Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to do splits. So maybe we won't start here, but this is our end goal. No, I'm just kidding. Basic splits would be good enough, right? So to do these exercises, you're going to want stool, yoga block, and or a chair to assist you. All right, let's just start by talking about the basics of doing the split, and then we can get into the different exercises you can do to achieve the split, and then I guess we can do the exercises. So we'll start by talking about the split itself. So to achieve your middle split, we're going to do a lot of stretching of your inner thighs and back of your legs. Um, to do these safely, we're going to make sure that the stretching is not painful at all, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable, right? So this is the key to getting a good stretch and improving your flexibility is your stretches should never hurt you to hold them, but they shouldn't be really casual either. Like sitting right here is pretty relaxed for me. I'm not feeling any tension, so I'm not going to gain any flexibility by continuing to sit in this pose. The only way I'm going to gain more flexibility is to use things like yoga blocks and putting my legs up to increase the uncomfortableness. Right, so that's really important to remember when talking about stretching. Also, we have to notice our hip rotation in splits. So you'll see a lot of splits where our hips are rotated out, are not tucked in. So when we do this split, we want to make sure our pelvis is tucked in and our legs are straight up and down. We don't want this. We want this. So make sure you're engaging that pelvic and twisting so that your tailbone is actually firmly on the floor. Okay. Otherwise, you could stretch incorrectly and hurt something. So moving on to the splits exercises. I'm just going to give you 4 or 5 of the basic ones that I did personally to achieve my middle splits. I think the middle splits are a lot easier than side splits. So if we want to do a separate video to talk about how to achieve side splits, we can definitely do that. Just let me know in the comments. So first stretch that I think is one of the best stretches for getting your middle splits is frog pose. Now we can do assisted frog pose, or we can do unassisted. I'm going to guess that you're going to want to do assisted to start with. So we're doing assisted frog pose. Go ahead and go into tabletop. Take your yoga block and slide it between your legs. Right between your legs. Next, what we're going to do is slide our knees outwards at a 90-degree angle. So let me angle this down a little bit so you can see. Okay, so from here, we're just going to slide our legs outward. So for each person, this stretch is going to look a lot different. Maybe this is the max you can go. Maybe you can go further. I've got to a point now where my pelvis is sitting on the yoga block, right? This takes a lot of the strain out of it for me so I can maintain holding this pose for a long period of time. If you're trying to gain flexibility, the average times for holding a pose is 30 seconds if you're under the age of 30, 60 seconds if you're above the age of 30. This is because our muscles obviously stretch differently as we get older. So if you're above the age of 30, make sure you hold it for an additional 30 seconds. Okay, so from this pose, you can rotate your hips downward so they're flat with the floor, right? Or not this. Rotate them out. Pop out the booty, you know. As you do this pose, so for some people, like I said, maybe you're still here. Change the direction of your yoga block. From here to here, right? So maybe we start here and we hold this for, a couple weeks. Maybe this is a good stretch for us. Rotate the block down. After a few weeks, hold this pose, and then eventually you can remove the block entirely. Maybe you go to like a soft towel, and then you can eventually get to the floor. From the floor, your like primo would be to lay all the way down to the ground. Now, to work on this stretch, you can move forward and backwards. This will slightly stretch different areas of your hip flexors. You can go like this and You can bounce. Bouncing is a little tougher when you're on tile flooring and it doesn't feel the greatest. So I'm not going to right now, but you can bounce your hips up and down just slightly. Again, when you're doing the bouncing, make sure that the bottom of your bounce is just slightly uncomfortable, not painful. Okay. From that pose, frog pose I think is an excellent place to start. Just make sure that you try to keep your legs, like I said, at about a 90-degree angle for optimal posing. You can start more in and then move them outwards. Next poses that I really love for middle schoolers. I like to do side lunges. I'm gonna rotate up again. Side lunges are very helpful for this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the yoga block and put it down in front of us, whatever direction that you want. We're going to get up, and we're going to be in this pose. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rotate to one side. You can move your yoga block. So we just got one leg going straight, and this leg, keep it kind of close to your body. So what we're trying to do is try to stretch right in here. So again, we can put our block here. We can bounce. You can put it behind you. Now from here, we can rotate over to the other side. And again, kind of bounce in this position. So I like to do active stretching. Active stretching involves the bouncing and the movement. I found personally for myself that static stretching was not helpful in my flexibility journey. I needed to do active stretching before I actually started gaining flexibility. So if you want to hold static, you can do that. If you want to do some light bouncing, that's what I prefer. So we're going to do both sides. Again, hold each pose for 30 to 60 seconds. As you gain flexibility, move from using your yoga block to hands on the floor, and then just crawl back and forward. Give it that flexibility in the middle. All right, from there, go ahead and sit your foot down. We're going to open up into a straddle. So a straddle is when your legs are not split. Just like lightly out in front of you. From the straddle, what I like to do is I like to go down both legs. This is super basic, super simple stretch, but it does helps with your back of your legs. And it also stretches your back, which feels really good too. If you want a good back stretch along with stretching your splits, go ahead and put your arm over your head and reach for that foot. When I learned this pose, I like to bounce like this. Using the weight of your upper body to push yourself down towards your leg. You can also change the pose slightly and put your chest towards your leg. This is going to engage a lot more of your hamstring. So from here, you can do a different bouncing technique. Put your hands on the floor, chest towards your leg, bounce. Go to the other side and bounce. I would do this exercise for 30 seconds to a minute of just going back and forth and bouncing. It feels good. And like I said, it's stretching the back of your knees, which for me is normally a really tight area. The other position we're going to do from a straddle is just a pancake. Who doesn't like a pancake? So I'm going to back away from the camera for a second. In our straddle pose, all we're going to do is lean forward. So take your hands, put them in front of you, and walk them forward. Pretty simple. So the ultimate goal with this pose is to get your chest flat to the floor. Again, we are exercising and stretching right in here. So just lean forward and put your chest on the floor. Again, with this one, if you want to use a yoga block, like this, maybe this is more comfortable for you. Then again, rotate it down. A few more weeks go by. Yoga block. Pancake. The next exercise I like to do for the middle splits, last one, I might have done more than 4 or 5, but the last one that I like to do for the middle splits, and I think this is the most important, if you skip all of the other exercises and just do this one exercise, you will get your middle splits. I mean, it's just a matter of time. You will get them. Do I recommend it? No, you should do some warm-up exercises at least, but this one will guarantee you getting a middle split. We're going to use gravity to help us. So this is when your chair or your taller stool is going to come in handy. Position that right behind your yoga mat. And I'm going to put the legs of it on the yoga mat so they don't slide around. So just keep that in mind that it could be slippery, whatever floor you have. Now, what we're going to do, let me talk you through it a little bit. We're going to stand up. We're going to place our hands behind our back and we're going to straddle. At the same time, we're going to have a yoga block handy. Keep in mind the position of your yoga block. If you're not very flexible, maybe your yoga block needs to be upright, down, to the side, or maybe you need to stack several yoga blocks. When I first did this exercise, I needed 3 yoga blocks. I was going to say you could use a stool, but it's probably not very comfortable for this part. So just make sure you have yoga blocks to use. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just stand up. We're going to work our legs out using this chair for support. Maybe this is the max you can do. That's fine. Hold on to the chair behind you and just relax. Allow your body to sink down towards the floor. If you're on carpet, maybe wear some socks so it allows your feet to slide a little easier. Our goal is to get to a point where we can rest on our block, right? So go ahead and sink and drop. This prevents you from having the strain of holding up your body weight, which can get tiring even for 30 to 60 seconds. So once you're sitting on the yoga block, things get a lot easier. This is no longer an active stretching though. This is just stretching. If you want to make it active, you're going to have to use your arms. So move the yoga block down. So always if you're at a point where you can kind of go between the top and the bottom yoga block in this pose, please leave your yoga block there so that if you do slip, you're not crashing to the floor. Now all you're going to do is bounce. This is stretching a little bit further. For me, it's not really stretching, but if this is the height where you reach your peak, stretching is right there. Just bounce up and down. All right, so this pose for me was the biggest pose to getting the middle splits. Like I said, just make sure that your pelvic is not curved out that way. Just make sure that it is pulled forward, rotated forward, so that your booty is flat on your yoga pad. All right, so again, you do this for a couple weeks. Rotate your block down, go further to the floor, and then eventually you will be able to just pull the block out and have a perfect middle split. So to achieve the perfect middle split, all you gotta do is do those exercises once a day for about 15 minutes. Now, if you don't have time to do it every day, it's just gonna take you a little bit longer. Do the exercises, you will eventually achieve the middle split. If you guys would like me to make a follow-along video where we actually hold each of the poses together for 30 to 60 seconds, let me know down in the comments and I'll go ahead and make that video for you guys. This was more of an instructional and tips on how to get there. If you want me to do the same thing for a side split video, please again, let me know down in the comments and I can make that for you. We can do our side splits. They're not as good as our middle split, but we can do them. They're definitely harder to do, but I would say start with your middle split and then maybe go for the side split. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned maybe something that can help you get your middle splits because being flexible just makes life better. All right, guys. I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye.
me. Don't gotta worry for the both of us. Put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta hurry and I need love.